Welcome everybody. Welcome to Soar and Pair Why Not Together, episode 45.
Welcome. Long time no see.
Yes, I'm Jim.
Sandy.
And it has been 3 weeks. We realized that we let it go a little too long.
Well, Easter happened, so it kind of put a hiccup in the plans. We had kids here, so yeah.
Yeah, we had fun though. We had our two granddaughters over, ages 3 and 7, and we hit eggs in the morning and
It was great.
yeah, had lots of fun. Enjoyed it. We played a game with the kids in the afternoon and we were exhausted.
Yeah. As holidays do, you know.
Yeah, but it was great. It was, I think, the last major holiday we're going to spend in this house, so we wanted to.
Yeah, it was great to just hang out with the kids and get to play with the grandkids. So I just love getting to see through the grandkids' eyes the excitement, and there's nothing like it.
It's so true. I become a kid immediately.
Yeah, we know. I love that about you.
I can't help it.
I love that about you.
I think any grandpa can totally relate that, you know, when one of your grandkids wants to play, it isn't like a question and then you forget your age, like really quickly.
Yeah.
Really quickly. But I just realized I forgot to say our little tagline, which is Soar and Pair, Why Not Together? Soaring together to explore new adventures while inspiring others to create their own.
I didn't even realize he missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, so we are getting closer and closer to our new adventure of soaring together. We are picking up our new RV in 2 weeks. And so I think what our plan is in our next episode is to actually show you the inside of our RV.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. It'll be, you know, kind of like touring where we're going to live.
Yeah.
We're not going to bother to show you our house here because you'd probably be really, really sad that we're leaving this big, beautiful house.
It's been a great house. I've really enjoyed our time here, and you know, part of me is sad to leave it, but at the same token, I think I'm just going to carry a lot of good memories forward, and it's just time to turn the page.
It is. It's coming whether we're ready or not. Remember we used to say when we were kids, ready or not, here I come, and
Here I come.
tag. Yeah, so I feel like life is kind of playing a game of tag with us. And so, you know, of course, we want to be a lot further along than we are. Life happens in terms of getting ourselves ready, but we're gonna be fine.
Oh, we're
right?
good.
We're gonna be just fine.
We are. Actually, we're more on task than I think either of us realize. We're doing okay. You know, it's a process, as anybody knows that's moved. It's a process.
Right.
So.
A couple updates. So on the music side, on March 30th, so if you haven't seen it, you can go on to our Soar and Pair Facebook. I did a hour-long concert at the Salvation Army downtown Phoenix, and Sandy did the Facebook Live, so the video is saved. I hate to admit it, but I'm not upright. I'm sideways. So just move your phone.
Oh my gosh.
Just move your phone.
There's a story behind this, but I actually talked to the IT guys at the event, and they were helping me, and I thought I had it set up right, and he was like, no, you need to click this button, and I don't know if that's what switched it or if it was just that it doesn't allow it. We were both guessing. I'm not blaming him, but I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Regardless, there's 2 parts to the concert. There's a smaller part, and then of course I'm playing my own music, and an alert comes up. It appears you're playing somebody else's music, and I'm...
Yeah, and they cut us off. They totally cut us off, so I had to start over. And, yeah.
Technical difficulties, but if you want to watch the concert, it is there.
In 2 parts, yeah.
Yes. But I do have... So in the midst of us moving, I decided to do one more concert before we leave. In Casa Grande. It'll be.
He doesn't have enough to do.
Yeah, I just thought, what the heck? Let's just make it more crazy. So I'm doing a piano concert on Sunday, May 23rd. And we'll remind you all again in the afternoon at the Presbyterian Church in Casa Grande in the back. I've performed there before. We'll raise money for a charity. I think it's going to be the Salvation Army, but we'll see down in Casa Grande. Or Seeds of Hope. They are social distancing people, even though the facility holds up to 500 people, they're only allowing 100 in, so I actually may do 2 concerts that day to allow more people, because I've had a lot of people reach out saying they want to see. I think people are hungry for live music. So that way we'll raise more money. I'll be totally exhausted.
You're playing music. It feeds you.
Yeah, it does. And I'm playing 2 things I've never played before, 2 big classical pieces. The entire Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven, all 3 movements, which is like a 15 minute piece. And then I'm doing the entire George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. And since I don't have an orchestra band with me, I'll even play some of those passages. And that's about a 16-minute piece. So, trying 2 big new pieces. I've never performed in public before. Should be fun.
It'll be good.
So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. So what's going on over there on your side of things?
Well, the summit, the Medical Intuitive Summit with the Shift Network, it was the air date was pushed out. So now it will be airing the week of June 7th to 11th. I will be putting out, the reminders and advertisements a few weeks prior to that, so be looking for that on Soar and Pair.
But she already taped the interview.
Yeah, I already did the interview, but it's just, for multiple reasons on their end, it's just been delayed, but it is coming. So.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great that you have an opportunity as a nurse and a healer intuitive to kind of give your unique point of view on things.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think there's going to be a lot of really good speakers on the panel, and so a lot of different points of view from the same topic, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
So another, and by the way, just as a reminder, sandysoren.com. You can go in, take a look at her website, and schedule yourself a half hour, an hour and a half appointment.
Yes.
She does great work, and I definitely take advantage of it. There may be some kind of sale coming up on Mother's Day, but we'll wait for that.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Perhaps. So, anything, I didn't want to cut you off. Anything else you wanted to mention?
I think that's about it on my end.
Okay.
That's, just, keep on keeping on.
Really, that's the theme. Keep on keeping on, Soar and Pair, because we are down to the wire. I mean, I feel like we've been talking, if you've been following our podcast, we've been talking about this moving out thing now for several months, and then we're down to basically 2 months and 2 weeks. So what's exciting is we are, getting our RV in 2 weeks, but then we're gonna have to store it because we. So there's all these moving parts. I feel like we're juggling all the things that we need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's much better at multitasking and juggling than I am. Things usually break and fall and get all over the place when I try to juggle. So,
all I do is spill coffee. So yeah.
Yes, I did notice some splotches in the kitchen, and I said, "What's that?" She said, "It's me."
It was my fault.
I knew when it happened. I didn't care.
Yeah. I was a little busy. Anyway.
But what we wanted to talk about today. Just a little bit is revisiting what we really talked about in our very first episode. So if you haven't watched episode 1, it gives you sort of our story. But we came across a landmark celebration, a very personal celebration on April Fool's Day. Yeah. April Fool's 2011. was 10 years from the first time that we kissed.
Yep. We have more anniversaries than anybody I know.
At
Just
least
saying.
at least a half dozen.
At least.
I don't know. I like
No pressure.
I do this all the time. I'm like, you know what happened 8 years ago?
Like, oh gosh.
And now our cameras show us like 7 years ago this happened. So, but I called it funnily, kind of humorously, our Kissaversary.
Yep. Our Kissaversary.
Because we did not see this coming.
Yeah.
So just for those of you who have newly joined our podcast and haven't watched episode 1, and those who have, just a brief recap. We got together under very unusual circumstances.
Yes,
And
we did.
what kind of spurred me to talk about this was, I'll take a break on us. I was tuning the piano of a gentleman in Casa Grande who's 88. He's been around a long time. He told me when I went there, he has like a 86-year-old partner wife. He says, we got together 2 years ago. I'm like, oh.
I think this is the neatest story. Yes.
I'm like, oh, that's great. He said, we were actually childhood sweethearts. We loved each other when we went to school. I went off to war, he said. And when I came back, she had already, married. And so obviously they stayed with their spouses a long time. And then his spouse passed away, I think, about 3-4 years ago. And her spouse had a long bout with Alzheimer's and then finally passed away. And they got together 2 years ago, and they're happy. And
What a beautiful story.
it's so funny because she can't hear very well, and he has a loud voice, and I'm listening to them talk as I'm tuning the piano, just smiling. And I thought to myself, I think in society we tend to not talk about a lot of times only the traditional get together love stories that the traditional
Yeah.
we met, kind of like the movie love stories and everybody was excited and everybody thought it was wonderful,
Did everything right.
right.
Yeah.
And so back to our story for those of you who don't know it,
And then there's us.
and then there's us. So as you know, Soren pair is very unusual. I'll start at the shocking part and then backtrack.
And then, okay, however you want to do it.
Sandy was my former sister-in-law. And before you judge us and think that, we're hillbillies, she was married and I was married to brother-sister.
Right.
For a long time. We're talking 1987. And I ironically played at their wedding.
Yes, he did.
So ironic, but what was interesting because of a lot of different circumstances I won't go into, we kind of knew who each other were, but we didn't really communicate very much.
Right.
You kind of went off and did your own thing and lived your own life, and occasionally we would, get together.
Our paths would cross, but
yeah, but
not
it was always
really.
very superficial. So fast forward a couple decades later in 2010, I'm going through divorce, going through some difficult times, and I reach out to her, and we started a genuine bona fide friendship.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like I remember
It
we
was
talked.
instant.
Yeah, we talked
Instant.
one night on your stairwell till like 5 a.m, and we just it was like
Yeah.
we couldn't,
Couldn't shut up.
And so we continued. I went back to Arizona. You were in Oregon at the time. We continued to talk. I mean, it was very platonic. It was friendship. It was, you were helping me through my stuff, and we just opened up to each other and became really, really good friends. So that was the first 6 months, and then I came up to Oregon to help her move, and probably looking back, we probably saw a few signs, but there was no intent like, oh, I want this to turn into something more.
You're right.
And so a fateful evening, we didn't expect it, but it happened. The kiss happened, and everything changed. And 2
Now
months,
what?
yeah, 2 months after that, we were making plans and we moved in together, and we got married 9 years ago. We're going to be like she said, we had a lot of anniversaries. 9 years ago, on April 16th, we legally got married.
Mm-hmm.
never forget. We went to the courthouse close by.
Yep.
And the judge looked at us. And what did he say?
He said, I see a lot of couples come through here, and you guys, you're going to make it. It was really sweet.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people who saw us or didn't know our story, because it always raises eyebrows when I start that.
Me too.
But I told this old gentleman, 88-year-old gentleman that I just told you about, and he looked at me and he says, and I can tell you're happy 10 years later. Obviously, it was the right choice.
Nice.
And I just think that's cool to, you know, why not celebrate the unusual stories of people getting together? Even if they're, you know, I mean, obviously we shook up the family on both sides. I'm not going to talk all about that, but our kids were like, what? But so what? We knew it was right.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking, hello, Uncle Stepdad. Kind of weird.
Yeah, hi, niece, daughter. So, you know, we didn't break any rules or laws, but I mean, it was an adjustment.
Yeah.
But I think if we were to talk to everybody, now they would say, well, yeah, of course you guys, you know, meant to be together.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, just like this gentleman that you're talking about, I think that story is really cool, because sometimes you hear people say, oh, I'm never going to find the right person. I think it's pretty neat that they found each other in their 80s. How cool is that, right? You got to celebrate that.
No, and you could see the excitement on their faces, and, you know, and I truly believe that both of their spouses or past would be happy for them.
Of course.
You know?
Of course.
And so, you know, to me, I found my best friend, the love of my life, in my 40s, in my mid-40s.
Right.
But she was under my nose the whole time.
The whole time.
So, you know, I mean, we met probably when I was 21, you know, which is ironic, and yet I was 46 when you know, the Kissaversary happened. And, you know, that moment, that was when everything kind of shifted and changed, you know?
Yeah, everything locked into place. That's the way I like to say it.
Right. So I just thought it would be cool to take a moment and celebrate the fact that, you know, it's okay, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's okay if your story is the way you got together, quirky, crazy, if not everybody approves, especially if not everybody approves.
Especially then.
But I will tell you, it was interesting, a quick story about my parents that got together. They had to elope because my mom was born and raised in Central America, grew up Catholic. My dad was a Danish, blonde hair, blue-eyed American who was LDS Mormon, and her parents did not approve. Mm-hmm. They eloped to Mexico.
I love it.
And so, you know, and...
when you know, you know.
Yeah, and they had 53 beautiful years and all these kids and grandkids. The point is that, you know, the whole Romeo and Juliet syndrome, it doesn't have to be, you know, everything doesn't have to line up. In fact, a lot of times, you know, when things are planned out ahead, it's not the right, it isn't the right fit, even if everything on the outside fits perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Sometimes shaking it up is exactly what's called for.
Right.
You know?
Boy, did we shake it up.
Yeah, we did.
But I think that I'm just grateful that we took the leap of faith.
Me too.
Because really, it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy, but I think it turned out for the best for all parties involved, and it just took some time, you know.
Well, we knew. Everybody else had to come along.
Everybody else just had to catch up.
Right, and when you know, you know.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
And I found a couple quotes that I think you really, really liked that I wanted to share as we wind down. Sometimes you fall in love with the most unexpected person at the most unexpected time.
Yeah.
Kind of what happened. And then this one she really liked. Your relationship doesn't need to make sense to anyone except you and your partner. It's a relationship, not a community project. But, I mean, follow your heart, right? When you meet the right person, you know, even if
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
nobody else understands or approves.
Yeah. Follow your heart. That's the best advice all day.
Right, because 10 years later, I'm very much in love with this lady next to me.
Me too. I love myself.
You're in love with yourself. Well,
I heard that as soon as I said it.
When you got it, you
I
got
love
it.
you
So, speaking of loving this lady, I'm going to end with a Sandyism. Yes, I still have more. This particular Sandyism, it's an interesting one.
Could go a lot of ways.
Yeah, so it's like this. You got to take one for the team.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And explain what that means.
Taking one for the team. I mean, isn't that pretty self-explanatory?
Yeah, I guess what it means is one of us gets in front of the other, and you know,
Throwing yourself on the sword, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's
I know, but not everybody thinks like you, so we
I
do
know.
have to explain.
I know. I have to say, I thought it was just Jim that didn't understand my canter.
Okay.
I had a girl at work recently tell me, the way you talk cracks me up. I always have to stop and think about it, and then I laugh.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. I told her that you call it Sandyisms, and she understood. I guess I do talk different.
Yes, you are an unusual, cut from an unusual cloth. And to you, it's normal, but to the rest of us, we're all just trying to catch up.
Get into my cartoon mind.
Yes, it is
Right?
a cartoon mind. It's very
It is.
visual. So, but anyway, we appreciate your patience with us, and we will definitely be back in a couple weeks. We'll post the video of our new RV.
Yep.
And we're excited about
that.
that.
We're so excited and can't wait to share with you guys. And then in a few months, we're taking the show on the road.
Yes, we are. So have a great week, everyone. Don't forget, we appreciate our podcast listeners. So continue to listen to us on all the podcast platforms, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and the rest of those great platforms. We also appreciate your feedback. If you have a unusual relationship story, share with us on the YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and get the alerts. We'd love to have more of you as we get ready to take the show on the road and change the background behind us, which has been the same for a long time.
Yeah, it's time to switch things out there. Good to see you all. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.